Okay, let's make start. Bismillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
alhamdulillah. Okay, let's make a start. Welcome to everybody. It's lovely to actually make a start today on our Surah Al Mulk. Just a very quick reminder, I hope you've all found a nice, quiet place in your house and you've got your earphones or headphones in. Hopefully you've got your mirrors to hand. If you've got a little mirror close by, that would be really handy. So if you've got that with you, all the better, alhamdulillah, that will help you with today and everyday session, inshallah. I want to just remind, just do a very quick, I want you all to think about, I know that sometimes when we come to a lesson, you come with a certain attitude already or a certain mindset already. Some of you may have done Tajweed many, many times before. Maybe there are some things that you've come in with and you're thinking, I can't do this, or this letter, or this type, or this particular sifat, I just can't do it. I just, you know, I just don't have the ability. I want you to shake off all of those feelings, all of those emotions. I want them all gone. Let's start this fresh. And I want you to remember that the way that Allah creates us is the same. I have the same tongue that you have. I have the same everything, alhamdulillah, that I have, you have. You know, we all have throat, we all have a nose, we all have the basic fundamental things that we need to be able to speak. We all have them. And sometimes a certain letter or a certain quality of reciting may be something that we're not used to. So it just takes a bit of time and it just takes a bit of practice. So we come in with the attitude, inshallah, today with we can, and inshallah, with the help of Allah, we will. And I want you to just bear in mind that Allah gives you things at different times. Some things you'll get very quickly, some things you'll get a little bit later, but it's all good. Alhamdulillah, Allah gives us with his wisdom whenever he knows that it is right for us. Okay, so coming in, as I mentioned yesterday, we have a lot of different people with different abilities. We have people who are coming in who are complete beginners. We have people who are of an advanced level. I just want to give you a little bit of direction on what you're looking for. So if there are different types of mistakes that can make in your recitation. There are big mistakes, there are small mistakes. Big mistakes are mistakes like, I'm going to keep this very simple. For example, if you're pronouncing a letter wrong. So for example, if we're going through an ayah and there is a particular letter that you know has been a little bit of a, you know, it's a letter that you're struggling to pronounce and perfect, then I want you to focus on pronouncing that letter. And if there's other things I've mentioned during the day that are other kind of rules, I want you to make your focus, especially if you're a beginner, your focus is how to say the letters. You just got to make sure that you pronounce those right, okay? And even if you're on an advanced level, sometimes even in advanced levels, there are certain letters or certain sifat that you struggle with. And if that's the case, then make that your focus, inshallah. We want to come away having improved our recitation. And finally, just before we start, please, you can take a moment just to renew your intention to yourself, think about why you're here. You know, that you, and remember we talked about multiple intentions yesterday. So think about why you're here and let's start. Bismillah. Right. So as I said yesterday, we are going to start today with the Isti'aatha. The Isti'aatha, for those of you that don't know, Isti'aatha is like a name for saying the whole phrase of A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, it's the whole phrase is called the Isti'aatha. It does have other names as well, but I'm not going to go into that now. So we're going to focus on this at the moment. And also, I was about to forget, I do want to welcome you to our brave students who are also attending the class. We have about 5 of them here with us, and they will be interacting with me. So when I ask you to recite, they will be reciting after me, and that inshallah will remind you that you are supposed to be reciting. Remember, this isn't a lecture in the sense that I want you to just listen. This is for everybody. I don't want you to come in and just listen to what I have to say. Remember, Tajweed is all about application. So whenever you have the opportunity, I want you to recite. So when I recite, you recite after me, okay? And listen to yourself and have your mirror and see if your mouth is looking similar to my mouth. But make sure that you're taking full advantage, because if you sit there and you're just listening, you won't get the full benefit, okay? So let's get ready. Okay, so let's start off with the very first word. So we're going to look at this word over here. Oh, if I can write, sorry, give me a sec. Okay, so let's have a look at this, the very first word, okay? We start off with the letter Hamza. Now, letter Hamza comes from the bottom of your throat, okay? So when you, for example, if you are saying, in English, you're saying the word, supposing a thought has come to you and say, aha, that first sound is your Hamza. So I want you to have a go at saying it. Everybody say and you'll notice that Hamza is supposed to have a sharpness to it. So it's not like there shouldn't be any shaking. It shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be just like right? It's got to have that sort of sharp start. Try it again. Mashallah. Okay. And the other thing I want to sort of draw your attention to is the fatha. Okay, trying to get the fatha sound right. Now for this, I do want to show you, I want to just break away for a second. I know we've only just started. I want to break away for a second and I want to show you the different harakat and how they look. So this, when you have a fatha at the top, some of you may know this as a zabar, okay? A zabar or a fatha which makes the sound. Then we have another haraka, which is where you have the one at the bottom, like you can see here. And this is called a kasra, or you may know it as a zir. And this makes the E sound. And then finally, you have the one that you can, do we have, yeah, we do have an example. The one that we see at the end of a'udhu. We have the dhamma on the dal. You may know it as a pesh. I will be referring to these with their Arabic names. But today I've just mentioned them. So if you want to make a note, you could say that this, which is what you call a zabar, is actually called a fatha, and that the next one, what you call zaid, I'm struggling to spell, is called a kasra in Arabic, and the dhamma, which you may call pesh in Arabic, is called a dhamma. Okay, so you may want to make a note of that. I will be referring to the Arabic, as I said, in the future, inshallah. Right, so let me show you how do we make these sounds. So first I'm going to show you with my if you look at, and I want you to sort of look at my face if you can. I was actually trying to enlarge this, but I can't get it to kind of, I will see if I can sort it out, inshallah, for tomorrow. But I'll bring myself a little bit closer. When we say any letter, any light letter that has a fatha or a zabar on top, our lips shouldn't be coming out. They're quite rested, but what Sheikh Ayman Swaid says is your mouth comes out a little bit and it opens a little bit. None of those movements are extreme. So for example, we don't smile too much and say, that's too much. Or we don't say, oh, okay, that's again opening too much. Oh. And if you notice, the sound's quite different. If I bring it out too much, it's If I bring it down too much, it's We don't want those sounds. We want something in the middle. Okay, so you come out a little bit and you open a little bit. You say Okay. With the kasra, which is the one at the bottom, where we say make the E sound, what you'll notice is your lip kind of pulls down a little bit. E. Okay, so it kind of comes down a little bit. And you're still you're still making a little bit of a smile. So you're not just going E or E. It's rested. It's just a little bit out. E. But you notice that your lip comes down a little bit more than it does for the fatha, for the sound. And then finally, when you make the U, or in this, I don't want to say it with the ain. I just want to say just the U sound. For the U sound, your lips have to make a round shape. Okay, you have to make a circle with your lips. Ooh. Okay. Now notice that your lips shouldn't come out. So they shouldn't protrude and say ooh. Just ooh. And if you notice when I say ooh, I have a little gap in between. Okay, there's a little hole through which the sound comes, and that's important. You need that ooh. You need a space for your voice to actually come out. If you don't leave that space, the sound is going to go through the nose. Okay, so we need to do that as well. So that's how your lips look from the front. Now I want to show you what's going on the inside. So let me show you. Right, can you see the screen, everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, jazakallah khairan. So you'll see here that when you have, I'm going to start with the fatha, so that's this one on this end. You'll notice that now we're looking at how the tongue is. Now, I know it seems like the back is going up a little bit, but actually your tongue is pretty flat in comparison to the other two. It's very rested. Okay, so you shouldn't feel when you say ah, when you make a ah, ba, da, when you make any of these sounds, none of your tongue is being sort of raised. It's just lying flat. When you are saying the dhamma, the back of the tongue is kind of coming up a bit. Okay, so you're saying, when you say ooh, and you can see here the lips, they've shown that the lips are rounding, but at the back here, you've got your back of your tongue is slightly raised. When you say the kasra, the middle of the tongue is slightly raised. And you can sort of feel this. So if everybody has a go at saying E, I want you to hold that position, and then I want you to try to touch the roof of your mouth with your tongue. You'll notice that actually you touch it very quickly because you're very close to it. Say E, hold it, and then try to stop. E. And then try to touch the roof of your mouth, and you'll notice you're actually quite close.
Yeah.
Right? Good. So that's how you can tell, because sometimes it's hard to, especially if you're a beginner, to tell how is my tongue actually moving. So if you actually say E and then you sort of raise your tongue a little bit more and actually touch the roof of your mouth, then you know that, oh yes, my tongue, my middle of the tongue is actually raised because I can touch the roof of the mouth very, very easily. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's come back to the isti'aatha. So our movement from here, when we say ah, after we say that, we move to the ayn with the dhamma and the waw sukoon. For this now, because we have got an oo sound, we know that we're going to be rounding our lips. The next thing we need to think about is, what about the ayn? Where is it coming from? How am I pronouncing it? And it can be quite challenging for some sisters to say the letter ayn. But trust me, it comes with practice. For most of us that find it difficult, it's because we don't actually pronounce, we don't have a letter of this kind in our, in the tongue, in the language that we normally speak. So to sort of give you an idea of where the ayn actually comes from, there's two ways we could look at it. The first way is, think about when you swallow, okay? Because when you swallow, your epiglottis is moving. That's the region where the ayn comes from. So if you actually think about which part, you don't need to know from the outside, but just feel on the inside. When you do the swallowing action and you say, which part can I feel something moving in my throat, right? You should feel something, okay? Exactly. The other way is, if you find that hard, if you're finding it a bit difficult to tell that one, try, you know, when you clear your throat gently, when you go, you know, that sort of slight clearing of the throat that we do sometimes, very light, that place. So if the swallowing one doesn't work, try clearing your throat very gently and see where you can feel you clearing your throat. That is where the letter ayn comes from. And what you'll notice is that area has to squeeze a little bit. Okay, it has to squeeze to get the ayn. If you don't get the ayn today, don't worry. Ayn is a letter that takes time, okay? But the key thing is, you never stop trying. You have to keep trying with the ayn. If you say, oh, it's going to take me time, and then you do not practice, it won't come. But if you keep trying every time you see it, slowly, slowly, the muscles will get stronger. Because remember, your tongue is a muscle. When you squeeze in your throat, you're using muscles to do that. So it's a matter of just like doing exercise. When you do exercise, the first time you do it, your muscles get sore, you get painful, they get painful. It's the same with learning how to pronounce the Quran. You are using muscles. And those muscles over time, the more you use them, the more stronger they get, the easier it gets to pronounce. Okay, so with the ayn, you should notice that you squeeze a bit at the beginning when you say when you say the first bit, but then when you say the dhamma, when you actually say the oo bit, you're not squeezing anymore. So you don't go and keep it squeezed. See that tightness, you can hear it. I'm saying and it's just all the time. It shouldn't be all the time. Ooh. See, at the end, it's just ooh at the end, and that's the dhamma sound. Ooh, ooh. Okay, try that, everybody. Ooh. Okay, so the thing to remember here is you have to separate the hamza from the ayn. So you always start with a very relaxed hamza, and then after that you feel the squeezing. Okay, so you just say just as normal, stay relaxed, finish it, give it its full attention, give it the one count, finish, then move to the ayn. When you're ready then to say the ayn, then you squeeze. Try again. Okay. Now, the other thing I want you to think about here is the ayn has got a waw maddiya with it. It's got a letter which extends or prolongs it. So the actually, we stay on it a bit longer. We say we stay on it for 2 counts. Double the time that you stay on the hamza. So the hamza at the beginning, we say is 2 counts. It stays a little bit. You have to make it double the time. Okay, and it's because of this waw that comes after it, the waw mud. I'm going to finish the explanation and then we'll practice the full word, inshallah. Now for the letter dhal. The letter dhal is pronounced, and you'll learn, actually, you'll start to appreciate the tajweed as you learn, because everything is so precise. And no 2 letters are the same. I know there's a lot of other languages that use a lot of the same letters, and you'll find that some of the letters sound very much the same. With Arabic, that's not the case. No letter sounds the same. Okay, so for the dhal, your tongue comes out a little bit and touches the top teeth. Okay, so I'll show you on my model here. I can't believe how fast the time is going today. So if you look, you can see the top. Let me just make sure you can see properly. Right, so you've got the top teeth. I'm showing you the side view. You've got your tongue. Your tongue very gently and lightly touches the top 2 incisors. Okay, so you say dhu, a'udhu,
A'udhu.
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 That's it. Right, now let's try the next one. Now here we have a kasra, we have an E sound. Be careful not to say B. We want to say B. A'udhu billahi.
A'udhu billahi.
Yes, mashallah, good. I heard the E sound of the he at the end. Be careful, we don't want to ever say be for billahi, right? We got to finish the E sound. Hear yourself say the B. Billahi.
Billahi.
Right, let's try that again. Let's try it with the first word. A'udhu billahi.
A'udhu billahi.
Good. And then now you got to be careful. The he shouldn't be made long. Sometimes the last letter of a word, we make it long. Be careful not to say billahi, he, too long. It's billahi, only 1 count, okay? And after saying this 1 count he, we go straight to the meme, okay? And again, it's got a kasra. And the he and the me should be balanced in that they are both 1 count. We spend the same amount of time on them, and they both should have the same E ending. So when we say billahi min, I'm just going to say me just for the sake of practice. He me, okay? We have to have that same E sound. I'm going to stop here. We're going to say this from the beginning together, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من
أعوذ بالله من
أعوذ بالله من
أعوذ بالله من.
Okay, then we have here the noon and this is for those of you that are a little bit more advanced, this fatha here is because of iltiqa as-sakinain, the meeting of the two sukoons. And the resulting solution here is the fatha, and that's why we have, because originally the word is min with a sukoon. We say the fatha, and this fatha is then joined to the sheen. Okay, sheen is a letter that is very airy, but we don't use the lips for it. So a common mistake is people will bring up their lips. So if you can see me, they'll say minash, and the lips sort of protrude out. They shouldn't protrude out. They actually stay quite flat, because the sound of the sheen is coming from the inside. It's not a lip letter. It's not a letter that's made from the lips. So your lips should be very relaxed. You should be focusing on the sound in the mouth. Minash. See how my lips are not coming out at all? Minash. Try it.
Minash.
Yes, good. And also, the sheen is a letter that you spend a bit of time on when you join it with the noon. We say it's a rahawa letter. It means you have to stay on it a little bit. When you say minashay. So you don't just say minashay and go straight to the shay. You hold the sheen first. Minash, this bit. You hold it first. Minash. And then you say the shay. Then you join the sheen with the ya. Minashay. Try that.
Minashay.
Yes. See how you hold it onto the sheen, or held onto the sheen rather first, and then carried on. Minashay.
Minashay.
Good, alhamdulillah. Then we have the ta. The ta is a heavy letter. Okay, heavy letters I will explain in detail, inshallah, a bit more detail tomorrow. I am a bit conscious of the time, so I want to at least finish the isti'aatha. So the ta here is a heavy letter. You should feel, and I will show you, inshallah, a picture tomorrow about for the letter ta. For the ta, to make it heavy, what you find is, instead of trying to make your voice come out and say ta, ta, let it come out. Don't let your sound come out. Try to point it. Try to make your voice, so if this is your top palate, instead of making the sound of your voice come out this way, out of the mouth, I want you to try and direct it towards the roof of the mouth. Try to make it go upwards in your mouth. So it says shayta, shayta. Okay, ash-shaytan. Try that.
Shaytan.
Now, be careful, and this is where I want you to see yourself with your mirror. Make sure that your lips are not saying "o." They shouldn't be going rounded. That will make a "o" sound as opposed to a "ah" sound. We want an "ah" sound, which is heavy. Yeah. So you don't want to say "shaytan." If your lips are looking rounded, then you're going to be making the wrong sound at the end. Okay. If you look at mine, if you look at my mouth, ash-shaytan. See how my lips are not round at all. Ash-shaytan. Okay. I'm going to finish the explanation of the next part, and then we'll say say it all together, inshallah. So then we have the knee. Again, this is here because of sorry, it's not because of the sakinain, of course not. It's a kasra because of the min. The knee is then joined to the ra, and this ra is a heavy ra. Again, I will discuss with you when the ra is heavy, when the ra is light. For now, I want you to know that this ra, because of the fatha, is heavy. So when we have to move from saying ni to ra, but we have to join them. So we can't say just ni ra. It has to be nir ra. As we move from the noon to the ra, we hold the ra, but not as long as the sheen. We say the ra is a tawassut letter. It is one which is in between. You don't stay on it for too long, but you don't make it too short. So, you know, if you say minash, you're staying on there quite long. But when you say nir, it's not as long. It's not nir. It's not as long as the sheen. It should be a little bit less time. So here we say nir ra. Try that.
Nir
Nirrajim. Okay, let's try the whole thing together. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Okay, so again with the ra, same concept. When you say ra, if you look at my mouth, ra, I'm not saying ro. My lips don't go round, right? Ra. You feel your jaw is being dropped, but you're not opening your mouth. You know, your lips don't separate so much. Near ra. We'll try this again. الشيطان الرجيم.
الشيطان الرجيم.
Let's try it from the beginning. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Okay, so remember when you say, let me just clear the screen. When you say me, na, keep the pace. Don't rush this bit because you're saying he, me. Sometimes it's subconsciously we're thinking, oh, that's an easy bit, you know, and we rush over it. Don't rush over it. Keep a steady pace. Billahi minash. See, keep the slow, steady, one count, noon, one count, then go to the sheen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Okay, let me show you the letter. Which page number was it? I'll show you. Let's see, 178. Let's show you this one. Oh, 1 second. 178. Okay. Here we have the letter Ra. The letter Ra is different to the English R. Okay. There are times where it sounds light. There are times when it sounds heavy. For now, what I want to tell you is how the tongue is at the front over here. Now, whether you're saying it heavy, whether you're saying it light, the front of the tongue is still doing the same thing. Okay, it makes no difference. So now let me bring you back to where we are. Okay, and before we finish, I want you to, now, if you can say the English R, I want you to say it to yourself, R, and think about your tongue. What you'll notice is that you're using the very tip and it's sort of curling. I can't actually curl this model, but you're actually curling it and then trying R. Say it to yourself and feel how your tongue is curling and how it's touching the top. Okay, the upper palate, just behind the teeth. When you say the Arabic Ra, your tongue shouldn't be in the same place, touching the top. So if your tongue, for example, is touching, for example, let's say here, just a rough estimate. I want you to say R, hold it there. And then what I want you to do is I want you to slide the tongue a bit forward. Just a little bit. Don't touch the teeth. Stay well behind the teeth. No touching of the teeth. Slide it a little bit forward and make it so that not just the tongue, but also a little bit of the top of the tongue is also touching the roof of the mouth. Okay, or the bit just behind the teeth. And then once you're there, let go of that and say Ra. Let go and continue saying the letter Ra. Alhamdulillah. Okay, I am out of time, so Jazakumullahu khairan. Jazakumullahu khairan to all my helpers today. Inshallah, we will continue with this tomorrow. For those of you that are watching the recording, you will now probably be seeing a blank screen. And if you just hold on a few minutes, that's completely normal. There's nothing wrong on your side. Sister Zuleika, alhamdulillah, is here with us, and she will be continuing, inshallah, with the virtues of the surah and the meaning of the isti'aatha. Sister Zuleika, when you're